This is from Lena, who asked a bit earlier about beautifulness. Well, I have felt I have to have these things that automatically come up, as that's what it is. But thank you for clarifying. I have misunderstood non-duality for years. I see society as very busy with attractiveness. I don't want to worry about these things. I much more like what you said about the light in people and open heart. It's so beautiful. I walk past people on the street. I don't mean it as a judgment, but like there can be someone super attractive and I walk past them and there's absolutely no response. But if I see light glowing from someone, it just makes me so happy. Like to see someone glowing. And when I interact with people, that's what I'm looking for, is that glow in their eyes. Attractiveness a lot has to do with money because you know, you've got to remember that women were a sellable object in society. I don't mean to bring all this feminism stuff up. I don't even know if I'm a feminist or not. It's a complicated issue. Maybe I'm a neo-feminist or a feminist pre-feminist. I don't know what I am. But women were sellable objects. And 100 or 200 years ago, what was attractive was fat women, plumpy women. This was more attractive, plumpy women. Because that reflected back that you had more wealth and more food, and plumpiness was attractive. And then as we got richer, feminists say that women became skinnier because women became more dominant and free, and so then becoming physically skinnier meant that men had a domination still over them, and that's why it became, I also think skinniness became popular also because gay men were designing fashion clothes and gay men were attracted to young men's body. So these skinny women represented young men, but maybe I'm wrong about that. But I also can understand that if men are used to being the powerful one and the dominant one, suddenly having a dominant woman and a plumpy woman, one that's physically stronger than them, then they would feel inadequate. So then I can see psychologically how that change could happen in men. So you've got to remember that women were sellable objects up until 100 years ago, and in some societies that are listening, they're still sellable objects for marriage, for kids, for having kids. In Western societies, it's not the case anymore, but it's still tightly related to money. So sexuality, so an attractive woman sells a lot of products because it opens up a part in men's brains when they see an attractive woman. It's nothing wrong. I'm not laughing at men or saying they're bad, but it's advertisement. It works on men. It doesn't really work on us so much on women. Like seeing a hunky man doesn't suddenly make us like if they've, you know, got a six-pack, and it doesn't make us melt, but it works the other way around, and it's just become a society norm. But you can actually see that attractiveness was a lot about finances and money. Marriage was an institution about money. It was a way of inheritance being passed over. It was a way of growing a bigger family group, which is about survival. And attractiveness of a woman, it's like if your woman was really attractive, of whatever was considered attractive in that society, it meant that they could attract a better partner and that family could receive more money. So it's actually a really fickle thing, this attractiveness. It's a power thing. It gives you power in society. And then if you look for somebody's light, so if you look for somebody's goodness, like their pureness of heart, like that connection to consciousness, to who they truly are, it's like going against that whole money system. It's like a form of activism. It's like loving someone beyond all forms, loving someone beyond the money, the power system. It's like loving someone for their essence. It's like a revolution. Imagine if that, I wouldn't want it to ever be commoditized, but imagine if that was seen as the goal in our society, like how our society would be see differently. Like suddenly it wouldn't be about having houses to compare to each other, like come over to my house and come and see how much Ted Baker furniture I have, or Gucci furniture, or I don't even know what's a famous designer. It would be about comparing each other about who's got more light. Come and look at my daughter, she's so light. Or my son. which is kind of quite sweet. But that's not a good idea. I'm not suggesting it should be that way. I'm just playing. It's the most attractive thing. When you really know what you want, which is freedom, then you'll see it as the most attractive thing to be around people that emanate light. But we get so confused. We think that the most attractive thing is power and money and domination. And so often we're going towards people that actually have dark hearts, like a lot of our politicians, and a lot of people that run our countries and run big businesses actually have dark hearts, but we run towards them because in the psychology of most humans, the most important thing is domination and power and survival. I mean, who cares how long you survive for? What's more important, being happy and being free, or surviving for like 90 years? But most of the time we run towards powerful people because they helped us survive longer. But it's changing. Society is changing. Like money balance is changing. So when I look at a politician, actually, whether they're part of the Conservative or Labour, if you're American, whether they're part of Democrats or what are the other ones called? Democrats or the right-wing ones. Democrats. Well, we call them in England Labour is like Labour for the workforce, and Conservative is the rich one. And I just look at people's faces and eyes, and they can be for either one, and it's about whether they have a good heart, really. It's not so much about helping the poor or helping the rich or balancing taxes, it's whether or not they have a good heart. And most of them don't, because they've had to fight to get to the top and to be popular. And so a lot of them don't have very good hearts. But you can see it like coming out of people's eyes. And the same with gurus and teachers, like go towards those that have light coming out of them, not those that have the most following or the most powerful. A lot of people are just attracted to powerful gurus because lots of other people are attracted to them, and it's just the same old thing. Like, see that childlike innocence that aren't trying to take from you. You can feel it energetically when you get down to the sensitivity of feeling. Republicans, that's what you call them in America. We call them in the United Kingdom Labour, so that's people doing labour, and Conservatives, that's the rich people. And it's really unfortunate because a lot of the poor people, they vote for the Conservatives because the Conservatives say a lot of things about immigrants, and we don't want immigrants, and all the poor people end up fighting for the Conservatives, and the Conservatives are just following the interest of the rich people. So we always have Conservative, or mostly have Conservative in power in England, which is a shame. Not that I don't think it really makes that much difference, the Labour or the Conservative. But the moment our mess in England is because the poor people voted for the Conservatives, because the Conservatives were like, let's take England back again and get all the Europeans out of England. Okay, that's a fine idea. And do you think those Conservative people are pro-poor people? The reason you're poor is because of all the immigrants. Oh, when have we heard that before? Oh yes, it's the immigrants' problem. Yeah, it's not years and years and years of rule by Conservatives. Always the same old thing, and the poor people always fall for it because they're not educated enough. And they believe, because they see immigrants in their communities moving in, they really believe that's the problem. But look for the light, and I swear to you, someone with light won't be talking immigration stuff and stopping immigration. I won't be talking about those things.